The group that has come together on these calls has been working together for 3 years or 2.5 years through this pandemic. And it is very clear to all of us that the model for funding childcare was broken before the pandemic, but with the pandemic and the disruption to the industry, that it is now clear to everybody that it's broken, that we have programs now that are still here, but are slowly dying because they're operating at less than break even. And their prospects for being able to get back to break even are pretty low because they are among the programs that are competing for a very scarce workforce. As I said, there are over 1,200 early care positions being advertised now, and that's people paying to advertise because they don't have staff. We need to change this. We need to immediately figure out a way in which we can supplement wages in the industry so that we still have an industry. And we know that the Education Committee will be working on a bill. I have heard that there are some other committees thinking about bills as well. But the industry needs a lifeline, and we need to move towards a system that makes more sense, where families can actually afford the quality care that their children deserve. There is a new coalition that many of us are involved with called Childcare for Connecticut's Future that will be pushing a bill to move us to a system where preschool would be free and that childcare would be subsidized so that no family has to pay more than 7% of their income for childcare. We frequently forget that for many families, for any family that has 2 children in care, this is their single largest expense. You can easily spend more on childcare than on a rent or mortgage. So there will be some legislation coming forward, and we need everyone to understand that this really is a crisis, that the funds that went to early care this past year, everyone was very excited that the state got $346 million to support the childcare industry. And that sounds like a huge amount of money, especially when you look at how much Connecticut spends in a regular year to subsidize childcare, which is about $250 million. But what we forget is that 3/4 of the children are not touched by any subsidy at all. The subsidies that we've been providing are not adequate, as you've heard from providers. And the money that came in as emergency pandemic relief has already been spent. That filled the holes that existed because programs had shut down and programs had additional costs. But the dilemma of not being able to pay competitive wages competitive with the rest of the economy is a fundamental problem that is going to force programs to close. And that's what is in our future. We will start to see more and more programs close, and that will force more parents out of the workforce or having to use unsafe, unlicensed care. So this is something that really needs attention.